In the next phase, the image writing stage, a laser beam writes the required image on the drum. A mirror and focusing lens aim the laser to the precise spot. At this point, the whole writing process is still invisible. Now, wherever the laser beam touches the drum, the voltage decreases to negative 100 volts. Why? Because the drum is light sensitive. In the beginning, the erase lamps use light to clean the drum of leftover negative charge. Here, the laser applies the light and the voltage dissipates. So the areas the laser beam touched are negative 100 volts and the untouched parts are still negative 600 volts. And because the image only exists as a variation of the negative charge, the image is still invisible. Now the toner comes into play at the developing stage. The toner cartridge sits very close to the drum and contains, you guessed it, toner particles. These particles are basically a mix of inked resin and iron. The cartridge rotates at a constant speed and the particles roll onto the drum. Now, toner particles only have a negative charge, typically around negative 300 volts. So where do you think they'll stick? Right, to the less negative parts of the drum because like charges repel. The toner prefers the less negative part of the drum and therefore sticks to the latent image, which now becomes visible because of the dark, sticky toner particles. Now the printer has to get that image off the drum and onto the paper in the image transfer stage. As the paper comes through, it passes over the transfer corona, which charges the paper to around positive 100 volts. So the paper has a positive charge and the drum has a negative charge, and you know what that means. The toner jumps over to the paper. The distance between the paper and the drum is carefully calibrated so that the toner doesn't scatter all over the paper, but transfers with the image intact. At this stage, the toner and paper stick together by mostly electrostatic force. A neutralizing device that looks much like a comb now discharges the positive charge left on the paper. There's one step left. The image is still not permanent, so the printer applies heat. At the end of the print route, a soft pressure roller is pressed against a hard heated fusing roller, kept at around 360 degrees Fahrenheit by a quartz lamp. These rollers are sometimes called fuser or fusing rollers. Between the heat and the pressure, they melt the resin and iron, permanently fusing the image to the paper.